gonna record. Okay, so let's just go through all the games. So the rain biking. So this is the one with the 3 bikes on each side, and you pedal to fill up a pump, which will then trigger when it fills the tank, a water tank, which will then drop on the team that loses. So the differences that we made in this, in particular, were that we're going to add visual indicators to the gauge on whether or not the tank is full, and add dynamic lighting. One thing that we thought would be really cool is instead of it just being a 3-on-3, like you can have that, but as the game progresses, it'll shift between players. So if you've got 3, bikes, and basically you'll have like dynamic lighting between the 3, so it'll be like everyone going, and then it might be like a 1-on-1 between 2 of them, or like a 2-on-2, and then it'll tell you based off of what's going on, like who's going to be competing at that point in time, and it shifts constantly, so it's different than just everyone going at once. Add sound and lighting to it will make a huge difference on how that game goes. So that's everything for the rain bike. Did I miss anything?
The visual indicators serve as like a guide to see who's playing, so that way we can incorporate different game modes and stuff.
Like different game modes,
That's pretty much it.
Okay, so then the next thing is the ball pit thing. So what we actually ended up coming up with, which we both really like, is we're doing like a capture the flag, but it's in a ball pit, and it's going to be in complete darkness. And then it's going to be kind of like a glow-in-the-dark type room, and all the players are going to have LED gloves on, so you can see them based off of their gloves, and they're going to be like color-coded by team and everything. So it's going to make it really cool and dynamic. And then otherwise it's just going to be like standard capture the flag, and the flags are going to be also lit up as well. And so one cool little game mechanic is that as you're running and trying to like get the thing, you can actually go under the ball pit to like obscure the lighting and to hide. Obviously, this game is going to require a referee to make sure that everyone's playing correctly, and they're going to be able to tell, okay, once you're tagged, then you have to go back to your station with the flag or whatever, and so on. And so it's going to be a lot of doing things like we can add like different gimmicks, like multiple different flags. We could do like different game modes, and again with the whole lighting concept, and using that to facilitate different strategies and things like that, and how we're going to do it. Anything else?
That's pretty much it. I think we were talking about a way to have other people involved in the game, but
not actually like playing. So we're talking about like maybe having like a concept where you could have players outside of the actual game itself that are influencing the game in some way.
Yeah, and even like say that this is the ball pit, and then you have the 2 flags. You could have like in the middle. You could have like a little island that way they can't like just sneak all the way through. They have to climb over.
Yeah.
You can come up with different map designs.
Orientations and designs that would make it more dynamic and interesting as opposed to just like empty. And that would make it really cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And then the next thing was this is the moving table thing. So this is the whole thing where they have that big table, and it's going to be cut up into sections. So we're thinking maybe cut up into like 4 or 5 sections. And so there's going to be an X and a Y axis that they have to then manipulate, which are going to be done through like bars on the sides. And so the ball will then have to try to be like traversed through a bunch of different obstacles and terrain. They're going to be like holes and pit traps, so they have to kind of move it around. And then at the end, there's going to be a final section, which is going to be moving on I'm assuming it's going to be on some type of motor, and the final score will be based off of like which basket they get it into while it's moving.
Yeah, so each score is actually a separate independent piece that can be moved individually from the other pieces.
And we can take it out, put it back in, and that way we can swap things in and out and change the game up as we see fit over time and add into the pieces.
100% co-op so far. Yeah,
everything will be co-op on this. Okay, so the next thing is the human blowing ping pong thing, where you have the players that are going to have their heads, everything's going to be on eye level, their heads are going to be in the board, they're going to be blowing on the ping pong ball, it's going to go back and forth and trying to score on each other. This is the game that we kind of figure that we need to add something to. We like the concept of it, we like the idea that it's on eye level and that you're just kind of using your head to play it, but we think that it's a little bit too gimmicky right now, there's not enough to it. And so we want to add something else to make it a little bit more interesting and to have that little flair to it. So that's what we're missing on that. Obstacle course is really standard. Your standard obstacle course, the difference would be we could have things like a laser grid, kind of like they have to like navigate through the laser grid without touching the lasers. We could do like a rock climbing wall, things like monkey bars, climbing up slides, moving through like obstacle tunnels, things like that. The only like real differentiating thing that we have in it right now is a laser grid, but I'm sure that there's other things that we can think of to make it a more interesting and dynamic obstacle course outside of just like standard.
Also, the obstacle course gives us the opportunity to just dump ideas into a game that doesn't necessarily have to be designed around that mechanic. So we could just dump all our design ideas into the obstacle course and just say, fuck it, just put it in the obstacle course.
Yeah, and the other thing about the obstacle course is it doesn't necessarily have to be like an athletic thing only. Like you can also throw in like other little mini games and puzzles like in the course itself.
Absolutely.
So it's like it could be a mix of like you do this, do that, and then the other thing that we can do with the obstacle course is that instead of making it so that one person's running the entire thing, if you have a team and some people might be less athletically inclined, they could then be like kind of like a relay where they'll be doing specific tasks and things like that.
We can even like test stuff in the obstacle course and then take them out and transform them into the escape room.
Yeah. The other thing that I was thinking for the obstacle course that would be interesting and different is if you have the whole mix of like an escape room and the obstacle course where you'll have one team trying to solve something and they'll actually maybe like manipulate the course for their teammates.
Yeah.
That are going to be playing it, in another room or beside them, and they can actually see what the actions that they're doing are having a direct impact on their team. So you can have that kind of both the athletic plus the strategic.
Yep.
Another thing that I think would be really cool is if we added a mechanic where you'll have a person who can see everything and giving instructions to their team that might necessarily have all the visual information in front of them.
Yeah, like there's a level in Portal where one guy starts here and then he has to like,
navigate the other person.
And then there's a guy on the outside who's like, go this way, go up, go down.
Yeah, and
it's
I think that would be a really cool,
it's actually awesome
thing that we can do with that.
Drawings.
Let's do. And then, so that's the obstacle course. A lot of stuff to go in there. The human foosball. So this is going to be essentially like the mechanic is going to be foosball, but with human players. And you're going to have your standard rectangular foosball style. It's like soccer arena with sloping edges so that the ball's always going in. You'll have your goalies on each side, and then you're going to have, we're thinking maximum of 6 players per team. So it would be 1, 2, and then 3, 1, 2, and then 3. But I think it would be something like this. I don't know, something. Anyways, but the point is, it's going to be like the foosball mechanic where you can go side to side, but you cannot go forward and backwards. And so otherwise, it's just like standard soccer. And you have like rows of so you're going to have the teammates and then the opposite side. Yes, Shadow. And then the way that we're going to have it is that you're going to have a bar on the end, and then attached to that bar is going to be, it's going to be like rope or like
seat belt?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
What's the word for it? Brain fighting.
Kevlar? I don't know.
No, it's the straps. Yeah, you're going to have straps. And the straps are going to be like, it's going to be like around their waists so that, so then the bars at the end will allow them to move side to side a little bit, but it's not going to give them slack to go forward and backwards. It'll be quite taut. Mm-hmm. So it'll be good. I think it'll be interesting to see how they play it out.
It's going to be interesting because people are going to be fighting for which direction they want to move.
Yeah, and they're going to have to like work together to move in specific directions, and then otherwise it's just standard soccer where you kick the ball and try to get it in.
You could even make it so if the other team scores, it triggers like a Febreze fucking water spray.
Yeah, we could do that. Have like a punishment game included in. So yeah, interesting ideas to do with that. I think a lot of this is going to come down to like the lighting and the sound that we put into each game.
Yeah.
That's going to make it really
exciting.
Okay, so that was the human foosball. The next thing is the sumo pole fighting. So one thing that we thought about would be like if we do like standard like sumo arena where you can have like 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. So it's a little podium. You got them in the fat suits with the things, and they can be hitting each other. You can have like a 2-on-2 fight going. You can have a 1-on-1 fight going. The other thing that we're thinking was if you have some type of mechanic where you've got people on the outsides and they have like kind of like archery, but they have like blunted arrows, and they can shoot the people in the suits to try to help their teammates. And maybe we have it so that when someone gets knocked out, then they go to the side and they can start shooting arrows. Yeah. So that way, if you have like a 3-on-3, one guy gets knocked out, he can then go pick up a bow, and he's still out, but he can start shooting arrows to try to like help.
I
his
feel like every game is gonna require a ref. BT dubs.
Yeah, for the time being, absolutely. It's gonna require a ref, but that's okay for like the initial designs, and then we can kind of see what we want to do to
Okay.
change that. And then yeah, so that was the sumo pole fighting, and I think that's pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, the reason why human foosball is highlighted is because I think that's the first one we're working on.
Yeah,
And yeah.
it's the easiest to create.
Yeah.
So the next things that we have to look into are the pricing on everything, because now we have an idea of how we want to do it, and we have an idea of what the scale is going to be. So lighting is going to be one thing that we're going to have to take a look at, because it's going to be incorporated into almost every single game. Actually, in fact, I think it should be in every single game. We should have some type of dynamic lighting to make it kind of like our flair, our signature of like how we create things. I think lighting and sound goes a long way.
Yeah.
And so we should definitely look towards getting some type of like deal, whether it be through China or whatever the case is, to get the lighting and to get a system where we can modify and easily code the colors that we want to come out and in what scenarios and so on. So that's going to be something to look at. Do we miss anything for any of the games?
This is also some more ideas, but you know, they've been played out. So these are the
originals that we came up with, or
these are the ones we're gonna be developing.
Focusing.
Nothing's really set in stone, but we did spend a lot of time designing it, and changes may occur.
so yeah, let us know what you think. Get back to us, and we'll go from there.
Okay.